I'm just going to start off. I've chosen a Blackbird because it's a very simple shape to draw. So let's get started. I'm going to draw a big circle. I'm just going to play with the body shape just to see how far it goes down. And like that. And so that basically I'm just getting a sense that within this shape, I'll go back and I'll then do some more example. There's a kind of bulk, right? You could say it has this kind of quality to it. I better distinguish. But you could say there's almost like two circles in it. You could say that it tapers off when there's a long triangle popping out here. So it's got to do with how to find all these areas. Is just you just take a moment to actually look at the bird, and okay, obviously acknowledge it's a bird, but then after that, and see why you appreciate it. You know, it's a beautiful bird. There's variation. You can see how it's standing upright. It's awake. It's aware. It's got its feet firmly in the ground. It's got some cast shadow. It's poised, you know, either looking for a worm or ready to take off. It's probably the photographer's caught its attention, so it's looking in that direction. There's some variation in texture in terms of the wing, and its beak is tilted up in a certain direction, and there's its eye, and there's a little reflection, and there's a white little halo around its eye. So these are all the things that you factor in and take in just in passing your first scan, like you would do as a photocopy machine. So these are the things that you appreciate, the actual inherent qualities of your subject, and then you actually look at how, you know, the kind of distribution of the size and shape of it and the context of the surroundings. So, you know, in other words, you just take stock of the whole thing and go from there. So I can just create another, I'll move my shape bigger and just create another circle up here for the head area, and I can join them up. Now I have to be, these are popping out into the canvas a little bit, so I'm a little bit restrained for space. I needed to make them a certain size. And so this gives me, so far, a very basic area to which to kind of play with. So this is like clay or Play-Doh or anything. You're actually following out and molding a kind of an area through putting on a dark shade and actually allowing it to fill. And I won't go into any specific shading yet. We'll keep it really light at the moment. So I'm just going to go down. Now the reason I didn't actually tell you how to actually get that angle, so you can see it's a narrow strip, but you have to kind of see where it lies. If there was an invisible clock up here, you know, if there's 2 o'clock, it'd be going up this way. If it's 3 o'clock, it'd be going straight over. It's kind of like aiming towards the 4 o'clock, but not quite 5. So it's in between, maybe 3 going on is 4 and 5. So that's for you to kind of work out if you're approaching those things yourself. For me, I've just gone with it there, and it's also got to do with just following the line of direction of the back area, and to see that there's a gradual shape down there, and then it tilts over. And okay, so now the next thing I'm going to see, I'm just going to look at the bulk of the body and the best place down here. So I reckon I need to go down a tiny little bit more, just to get that nice, graceful shape in here. And then what's going to be really interesting, right, if I actually maybe darken this a little bit more and then go a little bit heavier, I can actually cut out or darken the bottom area, and immediately I'm going to get a distinction. So I'm not actually focusing on the wing, I'm focusing around the wing and making that the natural darkness that it is. And by doing that, I'm able to actually bring up or put in relief the rest of it. So now the rest of the area of the bird that is darker than the wing area, there's a little bit of shading over here. That's just maybe a slight change in the orientation of the feathers and other little elements like that. I'm not going to, again, this is going to be very basic kind of drawing. There's going to be no detailing. There's going to be no kind of like trying to work out all the kind of like parts of how the wing is kind of settled. Not so much in texture, no kind of like trying to get to kind of all those things. I'm beginning to start now that I'm saying I'm not doing it, but like that wasn't the intention, because that's a whole other kind of study. I'm just actually just getting the kind of basis of it. So So I'm just going to work away here. You can see I'm just shading in. I'm looking at all the dark areas and just shading them in. I need to kind of keep my darks fairly consistent. So I'm going to just make sure that the darks are all kind of coming together in proper orientation. To kind of now I'm just going to do a series of little. It's like I'm actually. This is a big, considerably big area, so I'm actually climbing up this area here, and I'm just going to work my way up along as I get closer. It might just increase because it is important, particularly with digital stuff, the size of your brush. Now, again, just going to like make sure I see the overall shape of it, like that. And I'm going to just go for gold, make it smaller. I'm going to see again, this is a circle, see how it connects to the body area, see how it pushes out. There's a bit of chest dug out aspect there. And there's a nice, again, darker area here, slightly underneath, and slowly but surely, so there's somewhere. So now I'm going to make it smaller, and I'm going to like check that little area here. Now, because this is important, like procedure, to see to capture the kind of like tilt of the head and the angle, because that's so significant in terms of like trying to indicate what that bird is actually doing. And again, just start finding the center point there. Now, I might, unfortunately, noting, you know, you can kind of, if you make little mistakes like that, you can kind of correct it quickly. And I'm just going to go back to my thing, and I'm just going to like, there's a little bit of an overlap in terms of that. My bird looks much happier and friendlier than the bird in the picture. I didn't intentionally do that, it's just how it worked out. So just like fill in like that. Again, darken your head. Put in the highlight, which I'll probably do with the eraser, just to kind of pull out the eye a little bit more. Yeah, and so this is normally when you come to eyes and birds like this, there's a little bit of highlight in the pupil area, and there's usually some sort of like highlights around the darkness or the slit. It's a bit heavy, that highlight, but I'll leave it because it's just an instruction. So now there's a little bit, I'll go back to my thing, just so that I'll before I leave this area, I'll just put a little bit of shading in here. Just be careful, I'll just bring it up a little bit so that I'm not, even though I'm going to go lightly. Okay, so now, back to my dot, back to increase. I'm going to like just slightly tilt that up a little bit more. And now I'm going to, emphasize. Might as well just get the legs in now, right? And the rest of the bulk of the body, because I can see myself. Like I'm looking at that, and again, it's not the best image I've drawn, actually, to be honest. But you're going to get a sense of it. Now, I'm going to just, I feel I need to kind of move that chest area down a little bit further and pull it in like that. And I'm going to now start off with the legs. I'm going to look at how the weight is distributed. So it's pretty much directly down over here. And again, just look at the angle, trying to register that angle without getting too cut up. I probably moved that. I was trying to emphasize where the leg is directly behind the other, but I probably emphasized it a little bit too much because it's just a bare little tweak. Now I might as well just do it while I'm here and just do a slightly blacker line. Just emphasize it. Okay, so that's all kind of reduction. That's all. If you're not using digital, which obviously for the classes that I'm doing, you're not using digital, so you just have to get the corner and the edge of your charcoal just to get those very sharp lines in. So now I'm going to, the bird is not, or the legs of that bird are not showing, so I can just go back and just begin to just move my brush a little bit around just to get that sense of like effect like that. So a little bit of a cast shadow in the front. I can darken it in places so that there's a little bit of variety and move it around. I might as well just put the rest of the grass line in. I can see it now. Now again, be careful of how you highlight it.